Hey y'all, what is up? Keasbey here. So sorry, first of all, we're starting this a little bit early. My schedule just changed on the fly, but I wanted to make sure that I got to talk to y'all about a little bit about Floowandereeze. Sorry, slight mess on my table right now. um, I'm getting another PSA submission together. So let's get all this out of the way. By the way, if y'all did not see the PSA submission I did, let me just show you the two highlights really quick because I'm really excited, and then we're gonna jump right in. My absolute favorite card, Miyotoko. We got a perfect 10 on this one. Like, I was shocked that we got it. By the way, if there's any delay going on between what I'm saying and what I'm showing, I only own one camera, so yeah, we're on a Discord call with ourselves basically. And the other highlight from that video is this one. It only got an 8, but it is the only PSA graded copy of this card in existence. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, so let's talk about Floowandereeze. So uh, basically with the new ban list, I started picking up the deck again. I got kind of bored with the tier 0 format, just playing Floowandereeze versus tier over and over again. So I was playing with Warrock, and it kind of gave me an idea for Floowandereeze. So I'm kind of like between two builds right now, and I'm actually going to be building. Hold on, I got to grab it. I'm going to be putting together the deck while we kind of talk about it. So I think as far as like the ban list goes, the biggest hit that happened to us was losing Mystic Mine. And Curious being banned is kind of like whatever. Like, Curious got banned. Good. Cool. I think it's like a good future-proofing hit. I haven't seen it see play in like a hot minute. But I think like if they ever do hit... excuse me, if they ever do hit Tier Element Ishizu in a meaningful way where they would bring back Curious, it's good that it's gone. So I don't think that was like a crazy hit. Again, Mystic Mine was a pretty big, RIP, this is going, was a pretty big hit on Floowandereeze, unfortunately. I gotta put the other copy there. Just because like Mystic Mine is such a good card in Floowandereeze. I'm going to talk about Fissure later. I have thoughts about D-Fissure in the main deck. I just realized my chat's covering that up. So I think the best thing that we got on the ban list was the fact that, what's it called? Was the fact that Herald of the Orange Light went to 1, because now Tearlman Ishizu is much more weak against Dimension Shifter, whereas previously, like, you know, they had 3 of them. Odds are they might have drawn 1. They can hit the Dimension Shifter with it. Cool. Now they just have the one of, if they mill it, it's gone. Life is beautiful. We can D-Shifter them. And really, so like the rest of that was the only limit, the semi-limits, whatever. So D-Fissure and Macrocosmo are the two that I'm seeing the most talk about. And my thought on Macrocosmo is, sorry, I'm just checking my mic really quick and making sure. Yeah, I'm using the right one. Cool. Sorry, I literally just jumped on way sooner than I thought I was going to because my schedule changed up. I need that. I need that. I need that. I moved some stuff to my Warrock deck, so I'm just taking it back. Gonna just grab both of those. Just to show off Ultimate Rare Solemn Strikes. I just want to flex a little bit. Those aren't going. I think my double Azaeus is in here. Yep. And then that's everything that I need from that. So D-Fissure, I'm not maining D-Fissure. Well, okay, let me start by talking about Macrocosmo. I don't think Macrocosmo is worth playing at all. I think it's too slow. I think unless you're going first, Macrocosmo is going to do absolutely nothing. Your opponents had 2 turns to get their graveyard in order and to get access to the field spell that they can just out the Macrocosmo by using Mudoria, shuffle back something already in their graveyard, and then use the field spell to pop the Macrocosmos. So it's just like, I don't think it's worth the deck space. D-Fissure, on the other hand, and this is hilarious and unfortunate, I don't own a single copy of D-Fissure. I had to hit up my buddy for them, so I'm waiting for those. I got to proxy those for when I'm playing this weekend. But, oh, this is already my Floowandereeze deck. Cool. But yeah, so D-Fissure, I'm actually going to be siding. I think it's a good side deck card, but I'll get into why I'm siding it versus maining it a little bit when I talk about where I want to go with Floowandereeze and what I think is kind of the move with Floowandereeze. and what the next deck profile is going to be all about. So, sorry, I'm just going through. I gotta say, Ultimate Slayer has been, it's great in Warrock. It's kind of been really disappointing in Floowandereeze. I'm taking it out of the deck. But, need these. Magical Mallet's been the funniest card in this deck. There's my nice terraforming. So, D-Fissure, I think, is really good going first for obvious reasons. I think it's okay going second because you're going to be stopping Havness with it, and that's really the big play you're doing. Or if they like Super Poly. It is decent enough against Salic, but like Salic is still going to resolve and negate your monster. They're just not going to get the send off it. So like, it's not bad going second, but it really is like a much better go first card. And that's kind of why I'm like iffy about maining it. And now let's bring it all back and talk about Floowandereeze. So I'm between two builds of the deck. The build that I've kind of been playing around with a little bit already is basically the deck I've been playing, just trying to incorporate Necrovalley. I love Necrovalley in the deck. I think it's really, really cool. There is some really bad negative synergy with it. The biggest negative synergy with Necrovalley is that it turns off Ryza entirely. Because Ryza's all one effect. The fact that it would move something out of the graveyard, it's just, it's completely turned off by Necrovalley. Yeah, this camera where you see my mat and everything, it's going to lag a little bit because I only have one camera. So I'm on a Discord call with myself showing this. I've been maining Ultimate Slayer since mine got banned. So yeah, I've been trying it in the side deck, and it's really just kind of been like, I don't find that I need it against Tearlum and Ishizu. And the problem I have with it against Sprite, which was the deck that I was really excited for to play it against, Ultimate Slayer targets, which is a huge problem because Sprite Elf protects from targeting. So like what I would be hitting what I would be trying to hit with Ultimate Slayer, like a Totally Awesome or something, and then getting to drop the Mariological Aggregator, I can't do it because it targets and Sprite Elf protects. So it's kind of an unfortunate thing. But that's kind of been like jumping back to the two builds I'm between for Floowandereeze. I've been testing out again, like just my basic build that I was already on, but this time I'm adding Necrovalley and Necrovalley access to it. I took Ultimate Slayer out of the side because again, it's like maybe I'm over preparing for Tearlum and Ishizu, but like 80% of the games Tearlum and Ishizu. Yeah, Kraken Man, that's kind of my thought about D-Fissure. I think it's a really good side deck at 3. Whereas when it was at 1, I wouldn't have even bothered side decking it. The fact that you now have access to 3 of them, I do think makes it worth side decking. Because if you know you're going first, slam that down, you're in a really good position. And you've immediately turned off like the Havness play on turn 0 for them, which is really, really great. I think it's okay if you're going second. I don't think it's as good because, again, they already kind of have their fully set up graveyard. And when they have the fully set up graveyard, I can't stress enough how good that play where they go Muduria, shuffle something back into the deck, and then use the field spell to pop the D-Fissure is. It's insane. Also, huge thing. Don't ever spin back. If they have the field spell live, don't spin back stuff with Ryza. It will proc the field spell. I've learned that the hard way several times. But so that's build 1 that I'm messing around with Floowandereeze. The build that I want to talk about, and the one that I'm putting together right now on screen, I'm testing out a blind second version of Floowandereeze. It sounds really weird, but I got the idea from playing Warrock. So I said it in the hot take video. I think Floowandereeze is really, really, really good at, once you've cracked a board, making it really, really hard to play after that. Like once you've burned your opponent's resources, it's really good at making everything they have left over useless. So but it's competing with Judgment and Featherstorm. Yeah, man, I've been trying to fit Judgment into the deck for a while, but Featherstorm is just so good though. So the theory behind it is we let our opponent do all their stuff and we just slam the deck full. We just jam this deck full. Like I'm already on the 3 Dark Ruler No Mores anyway. We jam evenly matched. We add in like a Lightning Storm or 2. We let them play and we just break through the board and just establish like just enough that they can't play, and then we take over the game from there. Like I've mentioned, I don't think Floowandereeze is really good at going 1-for-1 trades. Like it's not like a deck like Sky Striker where you do want to make all these little like 1-for-1 trades throughout it. You just want big swing, like big swing moves, and you just want to make things unusable. So I think like a blind second build is kind of the way to go. And I've actually noticed, like I've been watching results come in, and it looks like other players are starting to lean in this direction. I struggle to add Fissure. I feel like going first, we have better choices like Duster, Trap Trick Judgment. Yeah, I would rather main deck evenly because I mean I'm trying out this blind second build and it's been working really well. And no one really seems to know how to handle it, which is really interesting too. Like as far as going into sideboarding, like I'll sideboard sometimes if I think like I'm not sure, like I'll split the difference between go first and go second cards. But a lot of times I'll drop the evenlies and everything turn one. Nibiru in the side, I don't really think so. I think there's just more impactful stuff than Nibiru in the side. I don't like Nibiru and Floowandereeze in general because it becomes super dead after turn one. It's not like a thing where like you play your turn one, if you draw the Nibiru like later on in a grindier game, like it is just completely offline. Like it's not like a thing where you can use it down the line and then recover from it. It's just, I don't particularly like Nibiru in Floowandereeze. I've seen it used before in the side deck, but I'm just not a fan. So I gotta grab my Lightning Storms because I'm gonna main probably 2 of these. And then my nice Terraforming is going in here. I play OCG, be interesting to see it. Yeah, I mean, that was the other thing too. Like, OCG's had 3D Fissure, 3 Macro Cosmo for a really long time now. And I just don't think it ever made a tremendous difference there. So it's like, yeah, it's really good. Like I said, I'm going to be siding 3-dimension Fissure. Unless something changes, that's probably going to be the version that goes into the profile. Yeah, I'm maining 3 evenly matched. Necromane King was it was a fun experiment, but it misses timing. So it resolved once in a while and then never resolved. So this is coming right out of the deck, unfortunately. So yeah, my take on Floowandereeze is I think I'm playing Murmur in the side. It outs Baguska and Necrovalley. It do be doing that. So yeah, the kind of where I'm going with this is I'm trying out this idea of a blind go second Floowandereeze deck. I think it's really interesting. I think because we're running, so like, you know, we have 3 Dark Ruler No More, blowout card. We have 3 evenly matched, blowout card. 3 Dimension Shifter, blowout card. And then we shore that up with like 1 or 2 Lightning Storms, main deck Feather Duster. So like, we were already kind of splitting the difference just a little bit anyway. Like I was running the 3 Dark Ruler No More for a long time. This was actually the very first builds, like before we got Advent, I was maining the Dark Ruler No Mores because I just thought it was like a good go-to for this. And yeah, no, it's like coming full circle now. I think really just, I love enemy controller. I think I have to take it out. It's just like, it's not quite impactful enough now, especially with Tearlman Ishizu like being the big deck on the block. I might try it out like in the side deck again. I'm not sure yet. And Gold Sark, as much as I love Gold Sark, I am going to take it out too. Because I usually would side out Gold Sark to go second anyway. So I might as well just like take it out off the bat and make room for other stuff. But I mean the monster, so this is kind of like my rough idea for it. I'm maining 1 Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. I'm testing a second one out in the side deck. That's something I am trying out. I've kind of been holding the Barrier Statue in hand a lot more. And then like, if I have map and, very specifically, if I have map and Dreaming Town, when my opponent, I'm drawing a blank on all the tier element names, I'm sorry. When they activate the one that special summons itself from hand, you fire off Dreaming Town into Barrier Statue and it completely shuts that effect off. Like they get nothing off of it. And then they have to presumably normal summon to hit over the barrier statue, and that's when your map comes in and you just protect it. Um, Keeping one Ryza in, the matches that I lose most often, I would consider two Ryza, but I just don't have the space for it in the deck. The matches that I lose generally are the ones where Ryza gets milled early, unfortunately. Losing Ryza in that first like 5 to 10 card mill that they do is just brutal. One Apex Avion. I love Apex Avion. It's good if you find yourself in the mirror and you're not playing Tearlament Ishizu. But if you get hit with early back row going first, like early back row removal going first, it's just a solid option to go into. So that you don't just like lose the Dreaming Town altogether. 2 M-Pens. 1 Stree. So I was talking about doing a second copy of Stree because of all the milling that goes on. I've circled back on that, and Stree is actually my least favorite bird in the Tearlament Ishizu matchup because of the existence of like the Midoriya and stuff that shuffle stuff back into the deck. So like if your opponent doesn't want Stree to resolve, Stree is never going to resolve. That's basically like the beginning and end of it. 1 Toucan, because 1 Toucan, and obviously triple Eaglin and triple Rabina. I'm going to do like a more formal deck profile on this once I hammer this out like a little bit better. This is just kind of like my rough idea for it. So going into the spells and traps, obviously we're running 3 map. If I was still doing a go first version of this deck, I would be trying out Necrovalley with like set rotation in here. I've had some people talk to me about Summon Breaker. I don't think it's correct for this deck, but I'm trying something really dumb with Summon Breaker in a different deck, and it's been working hilariously, so I'll probably talk about that once that's a little more hammered out on the channel. But, you know, 3 of these, obviously. I still like running the 1 Terraforming, just because, you know, easy access to map. I might take it out. I'm not entirely sure yet, because since we're blinding second, we are getting that 6th card, which does make, like, not a tremendous difference, but it does make a difference odd-wise in seeing what you want to see when you want to see it. So I'm leaving it in for now. Necrovalley, I'm not maining because this is a blind second build that I'm working on. If I was doing a go first build, I would have Necrovalley in there. I just don't have room. I might have it in the side deck though. Like the side deck for this, I'm still really, really not sure what I want to do yet. And especially with like Macro Cosmos at 3, Macro Cosmos into Necrovalley is one of my favorite plays of all time. I played Guru Control for a really long time before switching to Prank Kids, before switching to Floowandereeze. And that was one of the biggest power plays ever was Metaverse into Necrovalley. Have a good game, enjoy kind of thing. But yeah, I'm going to keep the 1 Terraforming in here for now. Obviously, 3 Advents. You got to play 3 Advents. It's just kind of the standard of the deck. Triple Prosperity. Again, is what it is. Triple Duality because we need to draw lots of cards. So now... Oh, and I forgot to mention, obviously, we have the triple D-shifters in the main too. I haven't seen Zombie World in such a long time. I saw it like once. I was doing a lot of playtesting yesterday on this blind second build. And that's kind of why I'm like showing it today, because I'm feeling confident enough in it to talk about it. Granted, like it's not fully mapped out yet. Like I'm probably going to make little tweaks to it here and there. And this isn't like the official deck profile for it. I'm gonna make one down the line. But I finally saw a Zombie World the other day, and it ended up not mattering though. Funny enough, like my board was so established by the time they put it up that I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and OTK. We're gonna run 1 Unexplored Winds. Unexplored Winds, by the way, especially in the Tearlament Ishizu matchup, I just want to talk about. I don't use it often to tribute my opponent's stuff because I don't want to proc the Tearlament effects, or tribute. I'm going to say tribute in air quotes. If you send your opponent's Tearlament monsters as part of the tribute summon when using Unexplored Winds, it will proc their effects, which can be really bad depending on the situation. What I've been using it a lot more, and especially in this blind second build, like fire off an evenly match, clear the field, go off, and then I can use this if I don't use Prosperity. Go into a Ryza, depending on the hand. Like, if I get a half-decent hand, I can get to the Ryza, put something they milled back on top of the deck that would be important. Like, be it like the Barrier Statue or anything like that, or Dreaming Town if Dreaming Town got milled, and then immediately fire off Unexplored Winds, tuck the Ryza back in, because I always try to put Ryza back in my hand. And now Eaglin is still live, depending on what got milled, if like that was going to be an issue. That's been an issue too, like losing all my Eaglin searches. But with that, like, and you immediately just draw it off unexplored wins. So like the mulligan effect on unexplored wins gets so much better in the Tier Element Ishizu matchup. It's insane. I love it. Called by the Grave, I'm iffy. I'm like back and forth on Called by the Grave. I can't tell you the last time I've been hit with an Ash Blossom. Right before I went live, I was playing one game. I did get hit with Troll and Lockbird. It didn't end up mattering because Toucan is my favorite card in the world. And I just grabbed Dreaming Town with Toucan and then had a Rubina in hand already. But whoa, what is happening with my camera? I'm back and forth on whether to play Called by the Grave or not. So I'm going to like put it in the maybe pile. It's going to be like a deck space thing, but I'm leaning towards it because once you get past that first turn too, it is a good tool against your Element Ishizu. Like they, drop something off Rhino Heart, you immediately Called by the Grave it, and you're in a good place. Especially if like you can hit a Havness with Called by the Grave, you're in a really good spot. Okay, so now triple Dark Ruler no more, of course. Like I've been on this even when I was playing this as a go first deck. Like I've mentioned, I don't think Floowandereeze has a huge issue with going first. I think it's really good going first if you draw a half decent hand. But going second, I think, is where it needs more help. So it's kind of like, it feels almost unintuitive to say, oh, this deck isn't great going second. Let me build a blind second version of it. But like, we're already doing a little bit with like the Dark Ruler no more, the Harpy's Feather Duster in the main to shore up the weakness of this deck going second. Why not go full tilt and just completely play it as a blind second deck? And this really came to me from playing War Rocks as a blind second deck. So again, like it's been working really well, and it looks like it's kind of like the trend the deck is going towards. Again, just like looking at like the decks that are topping. And then, yeah, we're going to be on like triple evenly matched for sure. And again, it's like a cool mind game. Like if you resolve an evenly matched game one against your opponent and you're playing Floowandereeze, like they're not going to be sure what to do. Because do they take the risk that you just leave all your go second stuff in and like do the same thing a second time? Like you crack their board once, you can do it a second time. Or do they take the risk and let you go first and hope that they draw their board breaker stuff? But like, and then that's when you pull in stuff like your, anti-spell fragrances that you have in the side deck or your feather storms, and you just completely stop them from playing. And you're like, thank you for letting my go first deck go first. And I sided to go first when you thought I was going to want to go second. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking with this blind second build. Triple evenly matched for sure. Obviously, we're going to be running a Dreaming Town. I'm not sure between like one or two Lightning Storms. The build that I've been testing, it's a 40 card build. It is on one Lightning Storm. I've been taking Called by the Grave in and out, which is also like something I'm not sure about. One Lightning Storm has been good. I think I would almost prefer to play two. Really for the Sprite matchup, because a lot of their stuff ends up in attack mode, and depending on how they end, you're at least going to like either, you're going to eat one of their negations basically with it, which is good enough sometimes. Or if you pair, like if you draw this in Dark Ruler no more, you're in such a good position, you're just going to wipe most of their field out. So, we're going to say two for this video. That might change when I do the actual deck profile. Who knows? So the side deck, I'm missing some cards. I don't know where they are, and I'm not going to make you watch me look for them, but obviously we're on 3 Feather Storms. Cosmic Cyclones, just for the more backhoe heavy matchups. I love Anti-Spell Fragrance in this deck. It wins you the mirror match basically automatically. And again, like we're siding to go first specifically at this point. Do I have anything in here that I wanted to... I do want to keep, I have another copy of DD Crow somewhere. I want to keep 2 copies of DD Crow in the side deck, just pretend there's a second one here. And again, that's really like, if I know I'm going second against Tier Element Ishizu, it's not bad. Like you crack their board and you let them, like you don't do anything depending on your hand, like you hold your DD Crows. You let them get through everything. You pass to your turn. You use your Evenlies, your Lightning Storms, your Dark Ruler no mores, all that stuff to crack their board, break through, get them down to no resources. And then you hold the DD Crow for the next turn when they try to rebuild, they normal summon their Reinhardt and you DD Crow whatever they send, something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's a good grind card against Tier Element Ishizu. But I think we're like so main deck prepared that like leaving it in the side deck is okay. And it's good against rogue stuff too. I've brought it in I brought it in over Dimension Shifter actually against Sprite, because I don't think Dimension Shifter does a lot against Sprite. And if you hit them with an early Dimension Shifter, they're just going to alter their plays to end on like red and carrot. Whereas if you let them get really far and you DD Crow the Swap Frog, they're potentially so deep into other lines of plays that they're not going to be able to set up that way. And they're just kind of like going to have to divert and do some other stuff. So I'm trying it out at 2 in the side deck. There should also be another copy of Barrier Statue here because I'm trying a second Barrier Statue out. And then the extra deck is kind of what I'm trying to figure out. So I'm taking out the... I think they're actually all in my they're all in my Warrock deck right now, but I'm taking out the Ultimate Slayer targets because I'm not really playing Ultimate Slayer anymore at this point. It's a really, really good card. It's just, it doesn't do enough against Sprite again, and because it targets. That's really the main problem I have with it. The targeting is just, and Sprite Elf protecting from it just slows it down so much. So I'm not really playing it anymore in Floowandereeze, but yeah, we're leaving Relinquished Anima for sure. Punish bad placement, and then our 2 Charmers. I might add Water Charmer back in to replace like the empty spots, just so that as many different options as you need to get to Selene, and varying different elements are good for the access code that you eventually go into. Making access code in Floowandereeze is one of my favorite plays. You don't do it that often, but when you do it, your opponent's always just going to sit there like, wait, how did that just happen? You can do that in this deck. It's really funny. Hang on 1 second. Where's my mouse? My mouse off? There it is. Okay. We've got our Zeus lineup. Yeah, the 2 Lyrilisks. I love Promenade Thrush. This actually did win me a game the other day. I had a bunch of birds on field. They dropped Summon Limit. I was able to just go into this, spin it back, and then play on their turn afterwards. So really, really cool card. And also, of course, detach material, spin something back, attack into like something in defense mode, or attack directly if you can with it, and then slap a Zeus on top of it and call it a day. Assembled Nightingale, obviously, the obvious AA Zeus line. And then, throw our Downerd over her. And then everyone gets in the robot. And AA Zeus Control is so fun to play. That's the Warrock backup plan, hilariously, is AA Zeus Control. Nightmare Phoenix. It's another like, oh no, what do I do? I have to out a weird floodgate. This is mostly for outing like there can be only one. It comes up occasionally where like you'll have map and like 1 bird in hand, or map and a bird and like access to other birds. Your opponent's got there can be only one. You summon a bird, you go into Relinquished Anima, you summon another bird, you go into Nightmare Phoenix, and then hopefully you have a 3rd bird, because do keep in mind, I've mentioned it in other videos, but if you use any of the birds returning from Banish to your hand, you can't special summon. It's not just their on-field effects. So yeah, I'm like, I might put Nightmare Unicorn in here. I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to put Water Charmer in here because I have space. Let me see. What is this at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got room for 4 cards. I might try the, like, Tri-Brigade, Shurag, and Ferajit. Ferajit's like a decent enough draw effect if you ever need it, if you're in a really weird spot. And Shurag is just, if you have a ton of birds and you're really down on the situation, it is like a non-targeting banish. And it does give you a search when it dies. So it's like, is it great? No. But, I don't know. It exists. I am siding D-Fissure. I don't own any copies of D-Fissure. So I'm missing a bunch of cards. I have to find... Like, I know I have a second copy of map. I have a second copy of Barrier Statue. I just don't know where it is right now. And I don't want to make you guys watch me dig through a bunch of cards while I try to find it. But I am siding D-Fissure right now. I'm siding it at 3 copies. Yeah, Omen. That's... What do I keep calling it? I keep calling it Shurag, right? The Link 4. I'm talking about the Link 4 Tri-Brigade monster. Hold on. Hang on. I have it. going into my box of extra staple cards. Oh, here. So we'll grab the Water Charmer right now. Yeah. Oh, it is Shurag, the Ominous Omen. Okay, we're both right. We're both just describing different parts of the name. Yeah, I'm thinking about playing Shurag in here because I have the space for it, and like the only other thing is like if I'm ever in a position where I can probably make Shurag, there's a chance that I can also make, where is she? Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, who also is really, really, really good. Has won me games before, hilariously, when a rival Cyber Static Nister was running around. So how many is that now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. I got space for one more card. I got to think about what else I want to play. Maybe I'll play... I think Linkuriboh is actually kind of cool. Hold on, I think I have one over here. I have a Linkuriboh off screen somewhere. The mirror match. Okay. So in order, the mirror match, I have a replay video that I am going to talk about with the mirror match. I don't think the mirror match has really changed that much post ban list, honestly. It's still, the mirror match is still a race to get to unexplored wins. Whoever gets that first kind of wins. Opinion on Macrocosmo. I don't think Macrocosmo is worth playing even at 3. It's too slow. You absolutely have to go first with it. And you're okay. If you're just playing the 3-dimensional fissures anyway, you have 3D fissure, you have 3 dimension shifter also. 3 Macrocosmo at that point I think is just overkill. Because like, yes, you're drawing a ton of cards that are really good against your Realm and Ishizu, but that's so many cards that could have been any sort of like play starter that you also need. Like, and that's kind of the one issue I've had when I brick with this deck is like, I'll draw like Lightning Storm, Evenly, Dark Ruler No More, Feather Duster, and then like nothing. And I'm like, cool, I can break your field and do absolutely nothing afterwards, which really sucks to do. And then, is Called by the Grave worth it in the main during this meta? I have mixed feelings about it. You don't see hand traps very often. I mean, besides Dimension Shifter, but it is really, really good in a grindier game for the same reason like DD Crow is really, really good. You just snipe something out that your opponent needs, and then you're in a really good place. If you do run into the rare Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, it's great to have. I'm having mixed feelings about Called by the Grave, in all honesty. It is really, really funny sometimes against Sprite, depending on how they've played their turn. The problem is against Sprite, like if they totally awesome you and you go to Called by the Grave, the totally awesome, if the elf effect is still live, they're just going to chain elf and the Toad's going to dodge the Called by the Grave. So it's like, there are games where it's really, really good, and there are games where it sits in my hand and does absolutely nothing the entire game. So I'm like, I'm back and forth on it. I have to do more testing. Like I said, like the deck as I showed it before, for anyone who's just joining in, I'll run through it again. But I still have to do a little more testing with this. So just running through this deck again for anyone who joined. We're doing a blind, kind of talking through a blind second idea for Floowandereeze. And the idea behind it is you break your opponent's board and then you just do a minimal amount of setup to prevent them from playing. Enemy Controller is not in the main deck this time, and it might not even be in the side deck. It's more of a deck space thing than anything else. It's just, I want a blind second, and just everything is super high impact cards. I love Enemy Controller, but its use varies a little bit depending on them. It can be absurdly high impact, or it can just kind of be like, neat. Oh, thank you. Yeah, my birthday was yesterday, so thank you very much. Yeah, Enemy Control. I want a main deck Enemy Controller because I really, really do love the card, but I just don't have the space for it. If it comes back in, awesome, but it might not. Again, I'm going to do a full official deck profile. Oops, let's get that comment out of here. Let's go ahead and hide this user on the channel. Don't need anyone clicking on dubious porn websites. I think double barrier is the way to go with tier milking it. Do you mean dimensional barrier when you say double barrier? What am I maining instead of enemy controller? I am maining evenly matched instead of enemy controller. Blind second, evenly matched, just slam it down. And that's the thing too, specifically for the Tier Element Ishizu matchup, they really only have one out to back row a lot of times. Like, it's crime. And a lot of times you know if they have crime because they burn through so much of their hand that it's kind of like you can keep track of what they're doing. And if they don't ever search crime, you can just slam down an evenly matched. And now Salic is offline because they don't have a Tier Element on field. If they have Super Poly, they can kind of like play around it in a pretty cool way where they like Super Poly, and then whatever they're Super Polying into is going to go, but like they'll get to use on a new chain link after it evenly resolves. They get to resolve a bunch of like Tier Element and stuff depending on what they fused away. So it's like, yeah. But yeah, instead of enemy controller, we're on evenly matched. Oh, statue. I'm maining one barrier statue and I'm siding the second one. Yeah, right now I'm looking at 3 Dark Ruler, 3 Evenly, and 2 Lightnings. That ratio might change a little bit with testing. Because like I said, this is like, it's an idea I've had kicking around in my head for a while of just blind second Floowandereeze. And then after playing blind second Warrock for a little while and like not finding a tremendous amount of success with it, but like enough success that I'm like, I can maybe do this, but in a better deck. I do really want to try it out. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I think it has legs. So the next replay commentary is going to have a lot of blind second Floowandereeze stuff in it. So I think that's it. I've kind of said everything I wanted to say, talking about like why I like the blind second idea, kind of showing like my idea for it. I just wanted to show like a first draft of the deck too for anyone else who wants to try it out before like I post an official list. Next few videos coming up, I am doing a Warrock replay video. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of people getting mad and rage quitting, or me winning one match or winning one game and then losing the match. But it's cool. I had a lot of fun making it. I want to show off the deck one more time before I switch back to pure Flounder content. I don't know how to focus the deck. I would like to play Necrovalley. I was trying the Necrovalley build. That was like the first thing I went to before I really sat down and started trying to do the blind second deck. I was doing the Necrovalley build, but it's really honestly my biggest thing about the Necrovalley is that it shuts off Ryza. It completely turns off Ryza's effect, which is just so killer. And it's not even a thing where you can like target the Necrovalley with Ryza and resolve it. Like Necrovalley just shuts Ryza off entirely. So, but it is what it is. I think blind second, excuse me, sorry. I think blind second is definitely kind of the move to try. That's where I want to leave it at. And so next few videos coming up again. Book is still good as a defensive out to Babushka when you can't protect. So my thought on Book right now is I think it is really good, but I also just think there's so much else going on. And if you like throw evenly matched down and your opponent wants to just keep the Babushka, like, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, they're losing so much else. It really depends what they have in hand at that point. And I don't know. Babushka hasn't ever been like a huge issue for me with this deck. Why not play Necrovalley at 1 like you did with mine? That was what I was doing before I switched over to the blind second deck. Okay. So let me show the deck one more time, and then I got to get out of here. So obviously we're on triple dimension shifter. You got to be playing it, going first or second. Card's really good. Triple Rabina because best bird, 1 card starter. Triple Eaglin, second best bird, M-Pen time. 1 Toucan, 1 Stree. Just to sum it up again, I was thinking about 2 Strees for this format just because of all the milling. But Stree is so useless if your opponent's milled a Midoriya already, because if they don't want Stree to resolve, Stree's not going to resolve. Double M-Pen because we got to play it. Apex Avion because it's really, really good in the mirror match and really, really good to go into if you get early back row removal, or if you get hit with early back row removal. One copy of Ryza. I would play two, but I don't have space. One copy of Barrier Statue because I have a second one in the side deck right now. I just don't know where my copy is. Double Lightning Storm. I might go down to one. I got to see. I've been testing at 1 and 2, and I haven't really felt that much of a difference. So I got to look at like a calculator too and do some like probability stuff and see like what's more worth it between 1 and 2 and how it affects like drawing the bird ratios and everything like that. Obviously, we're playing a Dreaming Town because it's a great card. Triple Evenly Match because we're blind seconding. Harpy's Feather Duster because we're blind seconding, and I was playing this in a go first build anyway. Triple Dark Ruler No More, same comment as the Feather Duster. One copy of Unexplored Winds because it's really, really, really good. And the mulligan effect is just so absurdly good. I see the chat going on right now. I'm going to talk to all of you in like 2 seconds. Triple Duality because we need to draw cards. Triple Prosperity, same reason. Triple Advent, it's just does so much for this deck. One Terraforming, this is the one I'm not sure about, but I like having it. It's just more access to Magnificent Map, and if I draw Bird Terraforming at Advent, it lets me Terraforming for map and then use Advent defensively if I have to, or use Advent to start doing M-Pen loops to get more searches. And then, of course, triple copies of map. The side deck, I'm missing cards in the side deck, but it's going to be 2 DD Crows ultimately right now. DD Crow is really good in the grind game versus Tearlament Ishizu. It doesn't necessarily do enough to stop them from setting up, but once you get into a grindier game with them, I think it is really, really good. So with this idea of blind seconding, like bringing it in as additional cards to hit the Tearlament Ishizu deck is really, really cool. Like I said, once you break their board and they're trying to rebuild, DD Crow is a lot better when they're low on resources. Triple Anti-Spell Fragrance. Again, win the mirror match basically immediately. Just overall really, really good. It forces like sprites to play all their stuff early if they have it. It shuts off back row wipes. It shuts off like stuff like Raigeki, Dark Ruler No More, things like that. Triple Cosmic Cyclone because this deck doesn't like back row. Triple Featherstorm because obvious reasons. I'm missing a couple cards in here. I'm missing the 3 copies of Dimension Fissure, and I'm still working on the ratios for the side deck. And then the extra deck, we got Link Karibo, Nightmare Phoenix, Relinquished Anima, just some fun Link stuff. We have our Double Azaeus package for the rare times you make it. Pretty comprehensive lineup to access code. Again, once in a while you will need to do it. And then just some extra links because we have room in the extra deck, and occasionally you will make them. Okay. I'm going to go through all the chat, and then I'm going to close out. So I think Double Barrier is the way to go. Oh, I mentioned that. Yeah. Talked about enemy controller, Stature 2. Yep. Why not play Necrovalley? I'm doing that in the go first one. Show the deck one. Yep. Okay, so yeah, Necrovalley does kill Ryza. It actually doesn't do anything to map because map sends directly from the deck to banished. So it doesn't interact with the graveyard anyway. So it doesn't actually interact with map at all. I mean, besides the fact that they both take up the same field spell zone. But yeah, Necrovalley does kill Ryza, unfortunately. What are your thoughts on Snell, specifically looking at upcoming Kashtira decks? I don't even want to think about Kashtira. That deck scares me more than Tearlament Ishizu, for being completely honest. And part of why I'm leaning towards the blind second build is just like, I don't know, breaking that board is so important. And it's like, but also like you kind of need to go first to stop them from setting up. It's a really weird, it's going to be rough when that deck comes out. It's so good. I'm like, that's the deck that I'm most scared of upcoming is all the Kashtira stuff, because it's insane. Diabolos Mind Hacker just rips your deck apart. Banishing face down is so bad. Like, at least against Runics, when they banish your stuff, It's like, cool, everything's available with Toucan. They banish it face down. It's like, it's gone. It's insane. I don't know if Snarl really does that much against it, in all honesty. Um, do I have a Discord server? I do not have a Discord server. I'm kind of thinking about it, but I might make one eventually. Avian in the side. I just like Avian in the main deck a lot because A, it's a good card, and B, if you do get hit with that early backer removal, it gives you something to do with Dreaming Town, so you don't just lose out on that. 3 Crossout Designator for the mirror. Crossout Designator does automatically win you the mirror match, but I don't think you see the mirror match enough to be siding for it. Really, for the mirror match, your focus is get to Unexplored Winds, and then have a really good understanding of how get to Unexplored Winds and have a really good understanding of the fact that cards have to be in the proper place to trigger, and you will win the mirror match every time. Just put a helmet on. Why? I'm not on a bicycle or anything. I'm sitting in a chair. I'm not gonna hit my head on anything here, hopefully. And cross out in the side. Yeah, like I just said. Oh, that's the same person. My bad. Yeah, I just don't think it's worth it for the mirror match to side the cross-out designator. But anyway, do want to thank you all for joining me. This was a little bit of a rambly one. Basically, I was going to have a live duel today, but I didn't know if I was going out tonight or tomorrow night for my birthday. So I didn't want to schedule one and then have to cancel it. So I figured I would just kind of show off and talk about the idea for the blind second test. All right, I will do one test hand, and then I'm going. Just because you've all hung out with me for, how long has this been? I don't know how long I've been streaming for. Probably about an hour. I don't know. I will do one test hand with this. The best part about test hands is we get to draw 6 cards because we're blinding second. I'm going to give this a really good shuffle just to make sure that I don't draw 3 evenly matches in a row. All right. One test hand. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then draw for turn. So, I mean, we kind of bricked on this hand, in all honesty. Let's see what we would get off the duality. This hand lives and dies by whether duality resolves. Depending on our opponent's board, we might also fire off these early, potentially eat some negations, clear the way for this duality. So, let's just assume we did that. Fire off the duality. 1, 2, 3. Grab the prosperity. I clearly did not shuffle well enough. Give us one more chance to shuffle. And we're going to fire off the prosperity. Let's see what we get. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, presumably, if the lightning storm and the feather duster resolved and we got this far, we probably actually have full combo here. Toucan map is full combo, so yeah, that's blind second Floowandereeze. We play a bunch of board breakers and then take control of the game from there. So, like I said, thank you all for joining me today. Next video up is going to be a War Rock replay video, and then after that, it's either going to be a Floowandereeze replay video or the full deck profile, depending on how I'm feeling about the list. If I'm feeling super, super confident in the list, I'm going to put the replay video up first. Or not the replay. I'm going to put the deck profile up first, and then I'll do the replay video after, kind of like highlighting almost what the list is. But if I'm not 100% certain on the list yet, I am going to do the replay video first because it'll be a good chance to like talk about the idea of it. Yeah, I need to shuffle it a bit. It happens. You ever go to a locals and you don't shuffle well enough and you just draw triple copies of Dark Ruler no more and have to stare blankly at your opponent, be like, I negated everything. Now I have nothing to do. It's not fun. But anyway, thank you all again for stopping by. Don't forget to drop this stream a like. It helps it get more views and all that noise. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And of course, if you want to help us out a little bit extra, this is the playmat I'm always going on about. And if you want, there is a link in the description to pick one of these up for yourself. And I will catch you all later. And thank you. Nice content. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. See you guys.